very good morning to you and welcome to Health and Wellness Monday. This is Leaving Up, and today we are actually headed to Isaac Mwaura's residence. That's the nominated Member of Parliament for Special Interest Groups, and he's also the National Coordinator of the Albinism Society of Kenya. So many myths concerning this particular condition. So we are visiting Isaac Mwaura to actually go ahead and demystify all of this. And we'll also take a look at the care and what the Albinism Society of Kenya actually does to ensure that we are more aware of this condition and what to do to take care of the people around us with albinism. All right, let's go. Thank you so much for having us today. We are privileged to be here today, and we've been covering a bit about skin for the last couple of weeks. And today we focus on albinism, and we came here to find out from you because you've been doing a lot in terms of creating awareness concerning albinism. And maybe you'll take us back to just a little bit on how you grew up before we get to the Albinism Society of Kenya and what it does to ensure that people are more aware of how to treat people with this condition and how to even handle it.
So I grew up here in Kiambu County, and obviously because of albinism, my mother and father separated. So I've grown up with my mother alone, and so it was very interesting for me because then I used to think that I would actually, my skin would change when I'm older, that I would actually turn out to be black.
But you had never seen anyone else?
I had never seen anybody with albinism. In fact, in my locality, I was the only one for a very long time, very long time. So it was a phenomenon that people would not understand. And of course, people would say so many other things. Of course, they would think, for example, that it is a mixture of a black person and a white person, a Asian person, which was not the case. So it was difficult. I would get out in the sun and burn, and my mother had to be hospitalized with me at KNH. For quite some time because of the sunburn that I had gotten. They didn't know that I required, to wear hats, and long-sleeved, protective clothing. And so therefore, it was difficult for my family. And of course, the ridicule and the name calling that comes with such a phenomenon. So it was difficult for them, but I was still able to grow up. Maybe the respite may be that I went to a special school. There is a first cousin of my mother who was a teacher at Pika School for the Blind, and then she advised that then there are such kids in that school, and that was a respite.
Okay. Yeah. You as a person accepting the condition and knowing that I'm expecting to change at some point, but it's not happening. How did you accept that you got to a point where now you're talking about it? When
you're a bit young, you're innocent, so you're covered by that sense of innocence. But then, as you approach, teenage, you take up that conscience. Now, I went to a special school, and that means I used to be away for about 2 months, 3 months. When I come back home, then people would ask, do you do the same curriculum? Are you different from us? All kind of things. And esteem issues around teenagehood. So when you're facing identity crisis, you can't really quite relocate yourself because you are black with a white skin. It's not apparent to you at that point that way. So you find people talking to you in English. I grew up at a time where there was very little awareness on issues of albinism. So it was difficult. I think when I was around 12 years is when I had the first name as albino. Because in school they used to call us white children.
Zungu?
No, white. They would actually write white.
Wow.
White children. So they would advise, for example, our parents to buy us long-sleeved shirts, when the others were having short sleeves, and shorts. So that in itself was kind of, so they would say for the white children, buy this kind of uniform.
Yeah, when they're doing those long lists of what to bring to school.
Yeah, the personal emoluments, whatever. Personal effects. So I remember one day telling my mother, they call us albino. They call us, because for me that was not my own label. Yeah, so it is when now then I started, start realizing you're different in a kind of mature way. Because when you're a teenager, you're in between a child and an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was supposed to go to Starehe school because I was the best student in my school, but they wouldn't admit me then. So I went to high school for the blind, which is a secondary section of the same school that I went to.
The school Starehe would not.
Yeah, at that point it wouldn't. In fact, later on I asked Griffiths.
And what did he have to say about that?
He said we don't accept injured kids because sometimes we do community service, we allow people to go out there. And it was understandable. When I was at the university, we visited the school. And then we visited the school as an example of gifted and talented people. Yeah, within the context under which then I was studying at Kenyatta University. And so therefore it's quite telling. But I think where I really felt that there was a lot of discrimination when I finished my Form 4, because then you're out of the caged system, if you like. You're now out in the society. People call you names, you're walking around, you're trying to find yourself. It was extremely difficult.
And the stairs.
And the stairs and whatever. Yeah, so around Githurai area, yeah, in rural constituency, then it was Juja. Working, I used to come for tuition. It was tough, but I had to find my way. The good thing about it is that I had developed very good self-esteem. And I was also a leader all along, you see. So I knew, like for example, I was a leader I started a youth movement in my locality, not far from here. And I was a leader because I had been a high school president for the students. So in a way, being out there has always been part of what I do.
Yeah.
And that's why when I was always political.
So it's not a thing that just came along.
No. You look at in fact, I remember my relatives, they would say, this guy one day will be a politician. Then of course others would say that you can't. And many times they say, where utakuwa mwanasiasa? So I used to be very political and that form of activation. And the conscience around albinism, like how to take up the issue. I started generally on issues of disability. But in 2006 is when we came up together and formed the Albinism Society of Kenya. And slowly but surely I started to realize that we needed to do something. And then we started hearing about the killings of people with albinism.
Yeah, the superstitions around
superstitions and whatever.
Yeah.
So somebody had to do something. So we founded the Albinism Society of Kenya, which I'm very happy now it's over 10 years old.
Yes, it is.
And we've done quite a lot on that one. To bring people together. You have to be there. And then we didn't have role models. People who we could look up to. I remember there is a guy that I thought who would be a role model. And indeed, people would refer me to him as an example. But then when I met the guy, I was a bit disappointed.
Why? How so?
I was disappointed because he didn't bring out the oomph around the issue.
The fire you came with was sort of...
I kind of felt, no, this is an anticlimax.
Yeah.
It's not what I expected. Because you see, sometimes you can just survive through the system, out of your own personal life. But it's also different to pick up conscience. Yeah? To pick up conscience. What William Dubois calls, pick up the conscience about an issue. And that is what I have sought to instill, because people must be fully aware of themselves. They must rationalize, they must be able to understand the context through which or in which they themselves are growing up.
Absolutely. That's very true. And looking at many people with different conditions, the one thing they don't understand is what causes these things. So they end up blaming people. It's you and the other person, if they don't have that amount of knowledge to know what is really the reason behind this. Maybe you could use this platform to actually just put it out there that this is what causes this.
Yeah. Albinism is a genetic inheritance. It's a hereditary issue that occurs because of genetic mutation. What do we mean by mutation? It means that the pigment producing genes are recessive in nature. That is, they are not pronounced. They are not pronounced like the genes that produce the melanin are not as pronounced for people with albinism. That sometimes people may still not understand. It means like the skin cannot produce melanin. But the genes that make you to produce that melanin they are not as, evident. There's a way in which you can understand biological, but I don't use biological terms. And it takes both the father and the mother to have the same genes for you to have a child with albinism. So it's inherited by both the mother and the father. So it's not a blame on one side of the parent or the other. The other thing that also happens is that you have to meet somebody who has that gene. It's not like, and the people who have the gene, they themselves don't have albinism. The carriers of the gene. In biology called autosomal recessive genes, for those who can understand that. So XXXY.
XXY, YY.
That kind of thing. But then it has to be. In fact, they say capital A, small a, small a. So these are small a, both. So that then you have
in the cross.
Capital A, small a, then you have two small a's. In the cross, the way you do it in biology.
Yeah.
So it's very uncommon. It's rare to have albinism. And you can be a carrier of the gene for generations and pass it on to your children without people knowing, because until they meet somebody else who is carrying the genes, they are recessive. They are not dominant. They are not dominant genes. They are recessive. They don't express themselves in the carrier of the gene. So albinism is found in all types of creatures, both human, animals, snakes, everything.
Very important for people to understand this.
So it's not a human phenomenon. Yeah, I've come across cockroaches with albinism. In fact, I remember the first time I found them. I was a teenager also. I was very excited.
Did you know?
Yeah, of course I could tell. You know it when you see it. So I was very excited. I came to tell to me, "Oh, Mom, I saw cockroaches that look like me, really." And I think she remembers that today. But they are all dark, brown. So this one that was white, that one looks like me. So it's everywhere, it's everywhere. So people should not think that it's something that is out of the world. But because of the rarity or the fact that you can find people with it, it means that then there are very few people with albinism.
Absolutely. And something else that comes into the picture, sorry.
And in my family tree, just the other day, my mom's first cousin, her daughter, has just gotten a child with albinism. So you see, now you can trace.
Yeah.
That's the same gene that I have. And I'm very happy about that. So my cousin has a child who is like me. And now at least that child has somebody to look up to.
Absolutely. I think that's the most important thing.
Not like the way it was before.
Yeah.
And I am glad that we are going in the right direction in terms of creating that awareness. But then it's also good to explain what are the challenges that come with having albinism.
And the care that comes with it, because it's something that needs to be understood from the word go.
Yeah, from a medical position, you look at two issues, the skin and the eye.
Yes.
Now let's start with the skin. The skin has little or no melanin. Let's use the word little because there is no absolution in some of these things. And because of lack of that melanin, then the skin is looking the way it looks, yellowish, pale, pink, and then the hair is blonde. Yeah. And so you burn in the sun easily. Yeah. If you're in the sun, you'll burn easily. Now, you may ask, what's the difference between people with albinism and those who are of Caucasian or Asiatic origin? Them it is, they also have the same. The allegations that then we are their great forefathers, but that's a different contestation. But it is there, you can read about it.
Yes, I have.
You have read that, yeah, yes. And it's a serious contestation. And it could be true because we all have come from Africa.
Yeah.
It's only the black color that is able to produce other colors. But when you get to that tough, then you end up in issues of racism and evolution. So the issue is we burn in the sun very easily. So you need to use sunscreen lotion. You apply on your skin so that it can fortify it, so that it doesn't get burned. If you don't do so, it's fine, but the skin gets very hard and rough. It ages very quickly. It ages very quickly, and you then develop skin cancer. But skin cancer is not natural to people with albinism. With sunscreen lotion, people with albinism, we have our members in the society who are 78 years old, so you can live as long. So the idea of thinking that people with albinism die early is not true. But if you don't take care of your skin, then it will happen. You go to apply sunscreen on the places where the sun is exposed. You've got to wear long sleeves, trousers, and you should have a hat. This is my political trademark. It needs to be a bit broad, but because I'm not so much in the sun there,
yeah.
you'd have big, like when I'm going out there in whatever, sometimes I wear that big hat. And that's what I used to even to wear for the longest. Until when I went to Parliament, somebody called me a cowboy.
Then you decided.
But anyway, this is okay, so it's a trademark. Yeah. So the issue is you need to protect yourself, and you have to have sunscreen lotion. It's expensive. It's about 2,000 shillings a month. But because of my intervention, now it's being provided for free across the country by the government. So now that is not something that should be a concern. And anybody who's out there who has a child with albinism, they can contact us so that we can put them in the program they are supposed to provide for free. And then you also have to take care of your lip because they crack very easily for the same reason. So lip balm that has got an SPF, sun protection factor. Then eye care. Because of the lack of the pigmentation, the retina of a person with albinism is not well developed. It's not fully well developed because you need that for it to develop. So if you look at the iris, if you look at the eye, the pupil, you find that then it's not dark because that is a reflection of your pigmentation. So you have people who have hazel, greenish eyes, and then there's something called astigmatism because of photophobia. Photophobia, astigmatism, then short-sightedness as a result. Okay. All of those. So you need to have prescription glasses so that then you can enhance your eyesight.
Okay.
And you find the eyesight of people with albinism, a good number of people will fall within the definition of legal blindness and visual impairment. But it varies. There are people like myself who can comfortably drive. There are those who will use Braille. So it's not typical. You can say all people with albinism see at the same range. So different prescription glasses, different eye care interventions for different people.
That's
so
very,
the lotion
very
is uniform.
True that.
Protection. But for the eyes, you've got to look at the specificity of the requirements of the individual in question.
Okay. Let's talk about the projects that the Albinism Society of Kenya indulges in. There are a couple of them. And you talked about one, the skin care, that they try and ensure that all the people with albinism are taken care of in that way. We also saw the Mr. and Miss Albinism. That was really, really good. And they are beautiful, I have to say. So leaving behind the shadows, what was the thought behind this, bringing them to the front line and showing the world that, you know what, even we...
They're beautiful.
Yeah, we are very beautiful. I was looking at the photos yesterday. And I have to say, very beautiful.
We have Imarisha Masomo program, which is educating over 40 kids with albinism and learners with albinism. We've educated over 65 over the years, where we pay school fees for them. And then we have Miwani Mashinani, give spectacles to people. We have Linda Ngozi, the sunscreen program. We have Jisimamie program, which is an entrepreneurship program, where we train people with albinism on how to be self-reliant. We have Naweza Kazi, where we place people with albinism in various jobs. We've done that with Barclays, we've done that with the L'Oreal. Recently, we just took 10 people with albinism to Safaricom to work with them.
Wow.
So employment creation of opportunity. And then we have Niko na Haki campaign. It's an awareness creation program where we go and target various individuals and groups of people to create awareness through the media and also through seminars and workshops. And we're going to so many counties across the country. The last one we went to was Taita Taveta, in various places like Kishushe, Bura, Veruka, Vesu. And before that, we've been to Tana River, and we keep on going. Even now, we're still doing that. And out of that, we had a project, which is now Mr. and Miss Albinism.
Oh, yes.
We conceptualized it, and I thought to myself, it's extremely difficult for people, and I could find that. Even when I was trying to date, before I met my wife, you find somebody says, oh, you are handsome, you are created in the image of God. They're trying to qualify.
Yes.
So it's very hard for them to say that you're beautiful and handsome in the same sentence.
Yeah.
They find it shy to say so. So albinism of Kenya is the Mr. and Miss Albinism Kenya, the first ever in the world. It's never happened before. It was a self-definition event to showcase to the world that we are beautiful and handsome, that we've got what it takes.
Yeah.
And I noted over time that our girls, for example, many of them, beautiful as they are, very beautiful indeed, they would get children, but people are not willing to get married to them. And it's because of perception. Somebody will get a lover, but then eventually because of the society's stigma and discrimination. So we are confronting that. So we did an audition for 30 of them from across the country. We ended up with 20 of them. And then now we did the grand finale, which was really good. And we have now Mr. Albinism, Jaira Songeta, a student at KU, and Mr. Albinism, Lois Lihanda, who is a student at Multimedia University, doing very good work. We have also Luciana Nyawira, who also is in high fashion. I think she was the cover model for, I think, last month's Couture magazine. So, and we'll also be having some high fashion. So we've done a lot. We have now that project. And it's been very powerful. Let me tell you, very powerful to the point that people now can, they are being stopped in the streets.
Yeah.
Saying, this is Miss Albinism. Oh, we saw you, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was even very happy because the other day I was talking to the first lady and she saw it. So it was really powerful. And it has changed people's perception. And we'll do it this year again. And now Tanzania wants to do the same.
That would be a huge move for Tanzania.
Yeah. Lesotho, they also have approached Gabon and other places. So it's now going to be an African thing. We will do, and we are very glad that Kenya has done that. And we really hope that we can continue to challenge that.
It's a job well done so far. That means we can only do better. It took one person to show the world that, you know what, we are beautiful and we are actually capable of taking up the world. That is what you're doing. And soon enough, you're just saying Africa, you just wait and see. It's going to be all over the world and they will be recognized and they will be treated much better than they have been in the last couple of years. Finally, as the national coordinator of the Albinism Society of Kenya, final word to people who have this condition and what to do, encourage them, raise their self-esteem this morning.
I want to say, as a national coordinator of the Albinism of Kenya, that we have a lot that we have done, but there's one thing that nobody will ever give you.
Yeah.
Believing in yourself, going out there and doing it. Nobody owes you anything. You've got to go out there, prove it, fight with the rest, and people will respect you.
Absolutely. Asante sana.
Karibu.
That was really good. There you have it. There you have it. You have to believe in yourself no matter what he says, what we say, what we show you every single day. We cannot. Oh, did you just do that intentionally? We cannot help you believe in yourself. It starts with you. You know there's help out there. You go out and get it. If you have the condition, you know what to do to make sure that you live longer and a more fulfilling life. This has been Living Up. We're talking to Dr. Maura. And this is very intentional.
Wonderful. And by the way, I'm getting another doctorate, so you're not very wrong.
It's intentionally put it there. I intentionally put it there. Yes. Okay. So go ahead, have a beautiful, beautiful day. We're taking a very short commercial break. When we come back, it's Beyond the Sport with Brian Suma.